Chapter 195 to 200. Long ago, not really, in a place far, far, not too far, away. It's a place where there is no sign of civilization in more than 100 kilometers radius. There are lots of large, jagged, menacing mountains, and there is a fucking huge black cloud above him. The cloud isn't just any cloud, it's a big black cloud. Cough. I mean, it's a massive cluster of thunder clouds. It's black, like really black, pitch black even. If you look closely, you can see black lightning flickering through it, the sound of thunder echoing loudly through the mountains below. But it's not raining. It's not a cloud that warns of rain, no. It's a cloud that notifies any who sees it that something is going on here. Something big. Specifically, it's the birth of something big. Storm Dragon. Veldora died, and the main part of him necessary for revival, the Veldora aspect, was trapped within his killer. Recently, it was released, and after finding a magicule-rich place, it began to resurrect the one who shall hold this aspect within it. Well, technically, it's not a resurrection, but that's beside the point. Plus, no human would bother finding their way into this part of the world, so, yeah. Magicules from all over the mountains rush to a single point, taking the form of a being that once terrorized the skies over 300 years ago. A large body, a long neck and a head that is both a source of majesty and terror, all covered in impenetrable black scales that normal weapons have no hopes in even scratching. Powerful legs crack the ground beneath as it slowly pushes against it, its arms reaching forward and pushing off the ground, lifting its body higher as its claws dig deep into the earth. Its wings stretch and extend, casting a wide, deep shadow, Magicules humming as it runs through its leather. Its eyes open, glowing in a golden light. It exhales a breath of hot air, expelling any excess heat from its recently constructed spiritual body. Its long neck cranes upwards, looking towards the clouds. Its head shifts lower, looking towards the eastern horizon. Memories of a human touching its predecessor, draining him of his powers and magicules, eventually killing him and preventing its resurrection run through its head. More memories of another human, a handsome man with white hair and golden eyes, comparable to its own, also run through its mind. It grows curious. It spreads its wings. And then it flies, heading towards the Jura forest, towards Avalon. I wonder what I'll find. MCPOV. I look towards the western horizon and smile. Rimuru, a storm is coming. I mutter to myself. Ilya/Makoto, cringe. -999, 999, 999 HP. Rimuru * cost blood * right. What were you saying, Ramiris? Ramiris, I said, of Valpurgis, was called. Makoto, Valpurgis? Makoto hesitantly asks. It's not just her, the majority of the people in this room don't know what a Valpurgis is. Well, only Ilya and I are aware of what exactly a Valpurgis is. Even Gazel, Irald and Hinata are unaware of what exactly this is. Ramiris proudly puffs out her chest. Barely anyone reacted when she burst through the door saying that Avalon will get destroyed, so she was a little depressed, but it seems she still has a chance to show off her greatness. At least, that's what I'm getting from her. God, she's like an open book. Ramiris fufufu. Allow me to explain. You see, a Valpurgis is an event where all the demon lords come together for a special meeting. Ramiris continues to explain in a surprisingly comprehensible way. Valpurgis is an event where, as Ramiris explained, demon lords come together for a meeting. A minimum of 3 demon lords needs to consent to launch one. However, once convened, all demon lords are required to attend. Not attending will be heavily looked down upon. It's seldom forgiven. Although there were times where some really lazy ones sent representatives instead, apparently you can get away with that. In Valpurgis, you just basically talk with each other about recent events, things like that. There's food and drinks there too. Rimuru, so basically a talk over snacks between demon lords? Ramiris, yeah, pretty much. Hinata, so, you're a demon lord? Hinata skeptically asks the flying fairy. Ramiris, hey. I know that look. I'm a bona fide demon lord, okay. I'll sweep the floor with you. Ramiris shouts while flying all around Hinata's head. Shing. Hinata pops her rapier out of its sheath by an inch. Immediately, Ramiris stopped flying around her and returns to Jarva's side, hoping no one sees the trail of sweat running down her forehead. Well, personally, I know that this is just a habitual reaction. She doesn't need to fear Hinata. Don't get me wrong, Ramiris won't win, but she won't lose either, not with Jarvis on her side. Mikoto pinches the bridges of her nose and takes a deep breath. Mikoto, okay, so can you please explain how this Walpurgis relates to Avalon's destruction? Ramiris, alright, it's like this. Clayman called for a Walpurgis, and Malim and Fry accepted. What Clayman wants to do is to bring to light the issue of Carrion's disappearance and the new city in the Jura forest. So I flinched when Ramiris mentioned Carrion's disappearance. Rimuru, something you want to add? Nothing much. I just thought now would be a good time to mention that Malim attacked Carrion and seemingly killed him. Forgive me, Rimuru-sama, I didn't inform you of this before. Rimuru, nah, I wouldn't have cared anyway. I mean, it's just a demon lord's death, nothing special. So I see. Although, I might as well mention that I doubt Carrion is dead. True, Carrion isn't dead. Or at least, according to my memory about the original series. Ilya, so you're saying Clayman wants to take over both Carrion's territory and Avalon, and if he can't take over Avalon, he will destroy it? Ramiris, well, I doubt he can destroy it, he doesn't have the strength nor connections for that. But he can hinder the city's growth. Pfft, I doubt that. Not with Ilya on my side. Well, barely anyone knows about her though, so I can't blame Ramiris for not knowing her capabilities. Mikoto, and what about the new demon lord in Avalon? Mikoto, asks Ramiris. I mean, Mikoto is a demon lord, albeit she hasn't proved herself yet, so she hasn't been accepted into the circle. Ramiris. Mikoto. Ramiris. There's a demon lord in Avalon. Of course, I should expect nothing less from Ramiris. Obviously, she hasn't heard about it yet. So after explaining again that Mikoto is a newly evolved demon lord, Ramiris only had one reaction. Ramiris. Okay. It turns out, she took it much better than I thought. I thought she would have been like, no way, or something like that, but no, she took it in stride. I mean, she was a bit surprised, but that's only because she didn't think Mikoto to be the demon lord type. She then followed up by saying, well, neither was I. I guess you just decided to follow in my footsteps, because you wanted to be awesome like me, yeah, and stuff like that. Mikoto, so do I attend Walpurgis or not? Mikoto repeats her question from the last chapter. Ramiris, Well yes, but actually no. Rimuru, ah yes, understandable. It's not understandable. Jarvis, Ramiris-sama means to say that it's circumstantial. Ramiris, yeah, that. Originally, it's practically mandatory to attend, or at least send a representative. But, you're not an accepted demon lord. Ramiris goes on to explain that unless 3 other demon lords are backing up your claim, no one will take you seriously if you say you're a demon lord. If anything, you'll only provoke someone who would most likely come over and try to beat you up. Ramiris, of course, if you prove your strength in some way, then that's also okay. Ramiris calmly says as she sits on the table, nibbling on a meat bun that's way too big for her body size. I swear I don't get where she stores all that food in that tiny body. As for where she got it, well, there's a big plate of meat buns I made and placed in the middle of the table for everyone, which are quickly diminishing. Ramiris *gulp Clayman called for a Walpurgis in 3 days, so if you want, I can contact the others and recommend you a spot. Mikoto. You can do that? Ramiris, of course I can do that. Everyone listens to me. They're scared to anger me and feel my wrath. Benimaru, forgive me for interrupting, but I don't think you can fly around the world and talk to every demon lord within 3 days. Ramiris, no way. I can't be bothered doing that either. You see, we demon lords have this super secret telepathy network that we use to talk to each other. And no one knows about it. Ramiris proudly says as she puffs out her chest, as she publicly announces it in a room full of people. Not so secret anymore. Well, Hinata, Gazel, and Arald are having a field day with this information. Although Hinata is aware that the target of faith for the church is Demon Lord Luminous Valentine, it's not like she discloses everything that happens, so this should be new information for her. Mikoto, then, can you contact them? Mikoto says with a small smile. Is she planning something, I wonder? Ramiris, yeah, just give me a sec. Ramiris closes her eyes and stays like that. I assume she's currently talking to everyone else. Out of the corner of my eye, I see Mikoto stare at Ramiris with a slightly far-off look before she smirks. Ah, I see now. Mikoto hacked into the connection. As expected of my waifu. I remembered that the Demon Lord connection is heavily encrypted, and you need a special code given by one of them to gain access. But unfortunately, Mikoto is a hacking genius. With her Saitama skill that even extends to Magicule-based networks. Well, unless she suddenly went crazy and started smirking with a far-off look for no reason, but I somehow doubt that. Mikoto closes her own eyes and the whole room just sat in silence, anticipating whatever is coming next. Their expressions shifted a few times. Ramira showed a face of surprise while Mikoto has a smug look on her face. She probably revealed her presence to whoever else is on the connection. Her face also shifted to one of distaste many times, no doubt talking to someone who sounds like a prick. Most likely Clayman. Maybe Leon too? Well, Leon can be a prick, but he's not that bad from my memories. He just doesn't know how to express himself properly. Of course, he still made Shizue's life kinda shit, as unintentional as it was, so I will still punish him. Vesta and Gabble suddenly have a chill run down their spines and close their legs. I'm curious what they're talking about, but I don't want to copy Mikoto and hack into their conversation. It's not like I can't, especially with the world's best Amudo at my side, but I don't want to reveal my presence. And if I'm not going to do that, then I don't need to hack into the network in the first place. 5 minutes later, Mikoto and Ramiris open their eyes at the same time. Ramiris, well, I guess you're attending Valpurgis in 3 days. Ramiris looks at Mikoto with an unreadable expression. Mikoto, What's wrong? Ramiris, nothing, it's just that. Clayman sounded a bit pissed off there. Are you going to be okay? I am reminded once again that, regardless of how she looks, Ramiris is a demon lord that's lived since ancient times. She can be serious when the time calls for it, like right now. Even I can tell, with my shit skill in reading emotions, that Ramiris is worried for Mikoto. But that worry is unnecessary. Mikoto, A guy like him can't touch me, whether directly or indirectly. He's going to have to get through him first. Mikoto dismissively states while pointing towards me. Rimuru, I love you too. Mikoto, yeah I know. She turns her head away with a huff. I almost missed that blush on her cheeks. Ramira shrugs and goes back to eating meat buns. Rimuru. Now that I think about it, why are you here anyway? Ramiris, eh? WL. Ah, right. We have that deal, don't we? It would be a shame if you couldn't uphold your end of the deal and I had to pick up after you. Yup. Ah, that deal where Ramiris makes a dungeon in Avalon? Jarvis Ramiris-sama was just worried about losing one of the few friends she has. Ramiris hey. And like that, the meeting ended. A day has passed since everyone gathered together for that meeting, and everyone has been preparing. For the Valpurgis, it was decided that Mikoto would attend, which was already established. But she, as a demon lord, could also bring along 2 attendants. She decided to bring Shizu and me. For Shizu, she stepped forward and asked Mikoto to join. This is because Leon Cromwell would most likely be there in attendance as well, since he is also a demon lord. A reminder that Leon is the man that summoned Shizue and had Ifrit possess her. He later abandoned her while he left his base, leaving her to delay the hero while he escaped. This ended with her being taken in by said hero and being raised into the woman she was. In reality, Leon left Shizu there for the hero to pick up because he is at Sundara and couldn't show Shizu the love and care she needed. At least, that is my understanding of it. So, he is bad guy, but this does not mean he is bad guy. And I'll also be coming along with Mikoto to Valpurgis because, well, it's because I want to. I'll pretend to be a harmless little slime acting as Mikoto's pet. Ilya will fuse with me, so she can also come along. Why not just walk in there and flaunt my OP strength that can even crush Guy Crimson? Because where's the fun in that? It'll be much more entertaining if I pretend to be a weak slime and then BAM. I turn out to be an endgame boss. Specifically, I want to bait Clayman. I know he's barely any threat, but it'll still be funny to wipe his smug smile off his face. I replaced Yuki with a clone and told him to act the same, without fucking over people's lives, so Clayman has no idea that he's already alone. Yuki already dealt with the moderate jesters, you know, the group with Laplace, Footman and Tyr. They won't be bothering anyone ever again. What? No, they aren't dead. They're just working a slow, easy life in a bakery on a street corner in the Ingracia royal capital. Speaking of which, I told Shizu about what I did with Yuki. Needless to say, she wasn't happy. But then I told her that he was a psychopath that was hellbent on causing chaos throughout the world and that I didn't erase his soul as I still have it with me, and she still wasn't happy, but she was understanding. I didn't have any reason to kill him if any of this wasn't true, after all. Of course, it didn't end with a simple explanation of I killed Yuki, 'cause he was evil, lol, but we properly sat down and talked about it for an hour or two over some food. That was yesterday, after the meeting. I slept while cuddling with Mikoto again, and a new day arrived. Mikoto said she wanted to visit a new store with Ilya, Shuna, Cheyenne, Shizu, Ultima, Carrera, Testarossa, Elin and Hinata since she wants to get closer to the three demonesses and Elin and Hinata can't stay here for long. But as soon as I heard the store name, I used the Joestar secret technique to get as far away as I could. The store name is Magical Girls Galore. I have a feeling I know who the owners were, and I don't want to bleach my eyes again anytime soon. Ramiris and Trainee aren't joining them, however. Trainee finally met her long-lost master after many, many years and they wanted to bond with each other again. So Ramiris is hanging out in Trainee's bar along with Trainee herself and all of her Dryad sisters that also heavily missed Ramiris. I feel sorry for Jarvis. The Dryads are probably having a field day in buttering Ramiris up in all sorts of compliments and praises. She will be unbearable for the next few days. Oh well, at least it seems that he has gotten used to Ramiris' antics. If anything, it seems he rather enjoys spending time with her too. A bit odd, a demon spending time with a fairy/ex-spirit queen. Oh well. So I Rimuru-sama. A familiar voice speaks into my mind through telepathy. It's so I. Rimuru, what's up? I say while sipping some coffee. I am currently sitting at a table just outside a cafe, relaxing and slowly passing time. So I have recently come across a seemingly important piece of information. Demon Lord Clayman is moving his army. Clayman is making a move? What for? I remember something like this happening in the series, but I forgot almost everything about it. Rimuru, I see. Thank you. I'll have to check on something, continue as you were. So I understood. I quickly switch my connection to Ilya, who is with the other girls in the magical girl store. Shudder. Rimuru, Ilya, Clayman is moving his army. Did something like this happen in canon? Ilya, Oniai-chan? Yes, something happened. Clayman will be trying to evolve into a true demon lord by killing off citizens in Carrion's domain. With Carrion missing at the moment, there's a good chance he will succeed. Naruhodo. Rimuru, Ilya, can you tell me how I can stop him? Don't get me wrong, I'm not doing this out of a sense of justice, I am doing this out of spite. I want to cockblock Clayman. Ilya. Oniai-chan. Rimuru, yes, I will reward you when you get back home. Ilya, yay. Miyamoto is so kawaii. Ilya, well, you just have to stop Clayman's army from killing anyone. That way, Clayman won't get any souls and he won't evolve. Rimuru, nuke Clayman's army? Okay. Ilya, I didn't say that, but yes, that works too. Rimuru, I love you. Ilya. Ilya didn't reply, but I quickly switched my telepathy connection to Benimaru. Meanwhile, in a certain magical girl store. Mikoto, Ilya. Your nose. It's bleeding. Thump. Shuna, Ilya just fainted. And what's with that smile on her face? Back to MC. Rimuru, Benimaru, Clayman is going to use his army to commit genocide to evolve into a true demon lord. I want you to gather an army and crush them. Go wild. Benimaru. My lord, you have no idea how long I've been waiting to hear those words. I smile as Benimaru cuts the connection as he gets to work. This is going to be fun. Later in the day, I gave Ilya head pats for an hour. Mikoto was pouting a lot, so I also gave her head pats. Fej, POV. My name is Fej. I am a soldier in Demon Lord Clayman's army. My parents had 2 children, and I was the second child. My parents named my older brother Jeff, and they named me Fej. Unfortunately, however, Big Bro Jeff was a model citizen and gained too much social credit, even more than Clayman. So Clayman got jealous and killed Jeff. Big Sag. But it's okay. Jeff is the type of person who puts in milk before their cereal, so I wasn't that close to him anyway. My mom also died long ago and my dad went to get milk from the local store, so I wasn't that close with them either. I don't hate Clayman, but I do think he's a cocky prick. Well, from what I've heard of him anyway. Never seen him up close before. I mean, aren't all schemers cocky pricks who think that everything is under their control? Just a personal thought. As for what I look like? I don't know. I'm just a temporary character that the author made up, so he hasn't bothered fleshing out any details on what I look like. Although I seem like a pretty chill guy. Guess the author was also too lazy to make me an enthusiastic person. Right now, Clayman sent me and the rest of his army into Demon Lord Carrion's territory to, well, I'm not sure. I'm just a normal foot soldier after all. I'm sure it isn't something peaceful either. Carrion disappeared, last I heard, got attacked by Malim. At least, that's the rumor going around. Clayman also seems to be getting a bit too cocky as well, ever since Malim started hanging around him. Did they strike some kind of deal? Yamza, alright you shits. We're moving out. That was Yamza, he's the leader of the army. He is one of Clayman's 5 fingers. The middle finger, to be exact. It suits him since he looks like a dick. He's also known as the Frozen Sword Mage because of his weapon that, you know, freezes stuff. He's also a prick. A dick prick. Yamza-sama, which direction should we head? One of the squad commanders asks Yamza. He's the type to suck up to Yamza. Also a prick. Yamza west. There's a large group of those damn beasts heading that way. We'll intercept them and wipe them out. We're going to kill them? I feel like something is going to go wrong. My fetch senses are tingling. Jeff and I both had a unique sense that was always scary accurate. But while Jeff's sense is always correct, my fetch sense is always the opposite. How do you think he got so much damn social credit then? But right now, my fetch sense is saying everything is going to be okay. That means shit is going to go down. Most likely, it won't be good for us either. But Yamza, that dick prick, doesn't even question his information, and quickly moved the whole army west. Later, we find a large cluster of people running away from us. Like, really large. Scary large. My fetch sense projects a sense of calmness I've never felt before. That's bullshit, there's definitely something wrong. Fedge, I need a vacation. I drop the simple spear in my hand, turn around, and casually stroll away. Something is going on, and I want no part of it. I hear Avalon is a pretty relaxing place, I should move there. Third person, POV. Yamza rushed towards the group of people along with his army, charging headfirst. It doesn't matter if they are citizens of Carrion's country or not, he just has to kill shit for his lord to evolve into a true demon lord. Turns out that was a mistake. After chasing after the mysterious group for half an hour, something happened. You would think that even though they caught up fairly quickly, it would be suspicious as hell if they couldn't close the relatively small gap in 30 minutes, but nope. Rimuru threw a Fortnite video collection into the pockets of a random soldier grunt which lowered the IQ of everyone in a large radius. If anything, the mysterious group is keeping that distance because they don't want to get anywhere near it. But, the mysterious group is also leading Yamza and his army to a specific point. A few minutes later, a massive magic circle appeared under both groups and a barrier rose along the outskirts of the circle, trapping everyone within. The mysterious group turned around, and for the first time, Yamza thought something was wrong. Yamza, were they always wearing armor and holding weapons? Yes, Yamza. Since the very beginning. It's just that the video collection was destroyed at the moment the magic circle activated. And so, with his IQ returned, Yamza looked around and quickly came to a conclusion. Yamza, it's a trap. Yamza said as he points towards a suspicious individual. They are a catgirl wearing a blue dress. Felix, I'm not a trap, Nyan. Subaru, oi, we're about to have a battle. Pay attention. Rem, Subaru-kun is correct. Benimaru, stop talking so much. All troops, charge. The battle was insanely hard, both sides were evenly matched and it all came down to the wits of their commander, doing everything in their power to outsmart the opposing side. No, not really, Avalon completely trashed Clayman's side. Within 5 minutes, Yamza made a retreat order. Unfortunately, the magic barrier surrounding them was designed specifically to prevent any kind of fleeing done by anyone not an ally of the caster. Even more surprising is that Rimuru had no part in constructing the barrier. Hell, Rimuru didn't touch anything to do with the battle either, except for the Fortnite video collection. The plan went flawlessly. Lure them into a barrier zone made by Shuno while Benimaru, Hakuru, Cheyenne, Gabble, Geld, Ranga and the rest of the army went wild and crushed them. It's a simple plan, but quite unbreakable. And did I mention that the barrier also blocked any kind of transmission? So Clayman has no clue this is happening. At all. And he won't until Valpurgis. Next day. Today is the day Valpurgis will start. Fucking finally. I was losing sleep from anticipation. I'm just kidding, I can't sleep. Ha ha ha. Sniff. Anyway, the first half of my Ilya ****. Correction, the first half of Ilya's plans were completed. Clayman's army of over 30,000 grunts was completely wiped out. There's no trace of them remaining. Yamza, the leader of the group, was a bit of a prick and antagonized pretty much everyone on the opposing side, calling them cowards. They can handle being called cowards and laugh it off, they don't give two shits about it. It's an integral part of their training to not care about their pride all that much as it can lead to unfortunate events. Of course, when he called me a coward too, he was then drowned in bloodlust and proceeded to immediately piss himself from fright before dying shortly after. So much for the so-called strongest of Clayman's 5 fingers, at least according to Mjurin. Anyways, as I just mentioned, today is the day Valpurgis will begin. Specifically, it will begin at midnight, which is about an hour from now. Once midnight hits, the second half of Ilya's plan will begin. Ramiris, what happens in the second half? Ramiris says, while still chewing on food. It's not a meat bun, it's a Lamington cake from a store nearby. We're sitting on a bench in a park along with Jarvis, Trainee, Shizu, and Ilya. This is the 322nd snack Ramiris had today. That's also not including breakfast, lunch, and a very recent dinner. I blame Trainee for this. Mikoto, well, it's quite simple. The group from yesterday will invade Clayman's castle and raze it to the ground. Ramiris swallows the food she had in her mouth. Ramiris, don't get me wrong, I dislike Clayman as much as the next guy, but why are you doing this to him? Ramiris asks with an innocent tilt to her head. Mikoto and I look towards each other and back to Ramiris with a look suggesting that she's the crazy one here. Why would we do this? He's not a threat by any means, I can literally snap my fingers and everything to do with Clayman could disappear. Mikoto just needs a coordinate and she can bombard Clayman and his estate with high-energy lightning strikes from halfway across the world. That's not including any of my other subordinates like Benimaru, Cheyenne, Shuna, Ultima, Carrera, Testarossa, Ranga, or, God forbid, Diablo. So why would we do this? Rimuru, obviously it's to fuck with him more. Mikoto, I mean, why else would we do this? Ramiris looks into our eyes that hold nothing but the purest of intentions. Ramiris. You guys need therapy. Ramiris says with a blank face as she accepts another Lamington from Trainee. Trainee here, Ramiris-sama. This time, it's banana flavored. Ramiris, ew. Shizu, so, when are we going? Shizu asks, while licking her fingers from the residue Lamington she just finished eating, a habit from when she was a cat. Rimuru, we can go now if you want. Ramiris, meh, you don't need to go now. There will be someone to pick me up, and you guys can just follow me. Ramiris dismissively says. Ilya. Avalon has an anti-teleport barrier covering the city though. Ilya mutters as she rubs her face up and down my arm. I swear she's more of a cat than Shizu. But she's right. You can teleport all you want inside Avalon, but you can't teleport inside from outside, although vice versa is possible. Not without being keyed into the barrier or being manually let through. Ramiris. Yabai, oh no. What do I do? I'm going to miss it. I can see it now, I'll be looked down on by all the other demon lords. Ramiris grabs her head and starts panicking. Trainee nuo. Trainee makes a JoJo reference. Rimuru muttering pretty sure you're already looked down on. Having not heard me, Ramiris around Jarvis' head. Ramiris, what do I do? 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 Jarvis, Ramiris-sama, calm down. The answer is simple. Jarvis calmly states, causing Ramiris to stop panicking so much. If you look closely, you can see that she was on the verge of tears. Ramirez asterisk sniff asterisk A? Jarvis, we can simply leave Avalon's barriers. Ramirez, oh, is that so? Come on, guys. We're leaving. Ramirez flies over to Makoto and begins tugging on her clothes, trying to get her to stand up so we can leave Avalon temporarily and wait for our escort. Rimuru, or I could just manually let them in when they arrive? Ramirez looks at me, and before long, she has that smug look on her face. Ramirez, I was just about to suggest that. Nice thinking, my friend. I somehow doubt that, but no one corrects her. We're used to it. But in reality, I don't want to wait for our escort. I mean, who knows when they'll arrive. So I secretly ask Ilya a favor. Rimuru, Ilya, can you send me the coordinates of the location where Valpurgis will be held? Without responding, since she's too busy rubbing up against my arm, the coordinates appear in my head. I silently thank her by patting her head, much to her happiness, and open my mouth. Rimuru, ah, they're here. I guess we should get going now. Hearing my monotone voice, anyone can tell I'm lying as a portal with golden sparks appear to our left. Well, Ramirez doesn't question it and immediately flies through, not doubting my words for a second. Ramirez, finally. Come on, guys. Rimuru. Well, she is okay like this? Jarvis asterisk sigh asterisk. Jarvis sighs and just follows after his master. Trainee already followed Ramirez blindly through the portal. Smiling slightly to myself, I turn into my slime form and jump into Makoto's waiting arms as she walks forward through the portal with Shizu and Ilya behind her. We get through the portal and it closes behind us. Looking around, I can tell that this is some sort of room used to receive the guests as they are teleported here. There's only one door, and I'm pretty sure it leads into the main meeting room for Valpurgis. But still, I didn't notice it before, but this entire place is in a different dimension? It's kind of like my mirror dimension in a way, as it's in a shifted reality different from our main one. Except, you know, way smaller. My mirror dimension is quite literally a mirror of the entire universe, not just limited to this world. Granted, it wasn't that big when I originally made it all those months ago, but it still covered the entire planet. It uses the main dimension as an anchor of sorts for support and a template to copy off of. This place is kind of like a pocket dimension that's only a few dozen cubic kilometers in size. Ramirez, who's that? Ramirez screams as she points towards me. Ah, I forgot that she doesn't know I'm a slime. I gave her a story that made her think I was born a high-tier spirit. Rimuru. Tihi Pero. Ramirez, you're a slime. Ramirez screams from her position on Jarvis' shoulder. Rimuru, I guess? Well, technically, I was born as a slime, but I evolved into a high-ranking spirit. But I'm still a slime. I guess I'm a spirit slime? Ramirez just continues to stare at me with a look of pure confusion. Hey! Blame Veldanava. I swear, he was high as fuck when he was dealing with the slime race. Except when he was making slime girls. I've seen them wandering around Avalon, and they look like normal human girls except they're slime. Veldanava may be a drug addict, but he is also a man of culture. Spark. I mean he's a bad dragon. Thankfully, he's dead. Yeah. Feeling the threat of death retreat, I breathe a silent sigh of relief. Scary intuition. Ramirez, anyways, I'm going inside. Ramirez shakes her head, deciding to not think about it before flying off of Jarvis' shoulder and begins heading inside. The massive doors open, revealing, as expected, another room. Judging from the massive round table in the center, that room should be where the Valpurgis will take place. Ramirez, remember, only 2 attendants. Ramirez says as she waves over her shoulder before the doors close again. Ramirez, Jarvis, and Trainee already inside. Makoto is the demon lord, and Shizu and I are the attendants. That leaves Ilya as the odd one out, to which Ramirez pointed out that she can't come with us. But Ramirez doesn't know that technically she can. Rimuru, right, come on Ilya. Ilya Umu. She snatches my slime body out of Makoto's hands and hugs me tightly in her arms. Makoto, oi. Ilya pokes her tongue out at Makoto before turning into streams of light and entering my body. Splat. Without anyone to hold me, I fall and hit the ground, my body making like an egg on a frying pan as it kisses the rather clean floor. Is that mint I taste? I'm joking. I can't taste in my slime form. Rimuru, ow. It didn't actually hurt, it's more like a habitual reaction. Which is weird, since you would think I would have left reactions like that behind with my human body. Ilya, 3. I can feel your smug aura, Ilya. You did that on purpose. I get picked up by Shizu, who looks at me with her curious golden cat eyes, before shifting me to a comfortable position in her arms. Mikoto holds out her arms towards Shizu, silently asking her to hand me over, to which Shizu contemplates for a second, and then turns around, walking towards the door Ramiris disappeared through. Mikoto, hey. Give her more back. Shizu, no. Mikoto, please. Shizu, no. Mikoto, why? Shizu. Mikoto. Shizu. Because I want to hold him. Mikoto, well, I want to hold him too. Shizu, but you already held him. Mikoto, well. Well, she's got you there. Not able to find a valid argument, Mikoto turns to me with trembling lips and slightly glistening eyes. She looks like a child whose favorite toy was just taken away. Fucking hell, that's cute. In the end, both Shizu and Mikoto cease their childish argument and come to an agreement. They'll both hold me. I wish. Instead, Shizu just dropped me to the floor, and both Mikoto and Shizu walked through the doors without looking back. Why? I want to be carried. That was I can silently feel their chests. But now I can't. Ilya, pu, hoo-hoo. Stop laughing. Bouncing after the two, I enter the room to find Mikoto sitting down at the round table. Shizu silently stands behind her. I would have kicked open the door screaming "What's up fuckers" if I were in my human form. Anyway, on the other side of the table is Ramiris and the red-haired guy. Instantly, I can guess who he is. It's Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob. Cough. It's Guy Crimson, the Lord of Darkness, Chiyuni name, one of, if not the first demon lord to ever exist and sole leader of the ice continent to the far north. He also seems to have been the first one to arrive. Using Azathoth, I look back in time to find that he has been sitting here since yesterday. Yesterday. What the fuck? Of course, I made sure to do it discreetly in a way that Guy can't sense it. No one needs to know that a slime has a time-related ultimate skill. I bounce into the room, acting like a normal slime, and look towards both Shizu and Mikoto. They don't react. They don't even look at me. Why? I thought they really wanted to carry me. Don't tell me they're waiting for me to choose one over the other? Oh god, they are doing that, aren't they? Well, regardless of what happens, I would always choose Mikoto. It's my duty as her boyfriend as well as fear for what she will do if I don't choose her. Mostly the former, but the latter is also concerning. So I jump onto Mikoto's lap, to which she sends Shizu a victorious smirk while the latter pouts. I'm sorry Shizu, but Mikoto's thighs are better. Ramiris and Guy are making small talk while Trainee and Jarvis stand dutifully behind the former, completely still and silent as if they've been doing this for years. Ramiris is very excited, talking loudly and bragging about her new attendants, showing them off to her longtime friend. Guy lacks her enthusiasm, but you can tell he thinks very well of Ramiris. I also see him looking in our direction with curiosity, a sort of childish interest. He's mainly looking at Mikoto, since he should be aware that she is the new Demon Lord since she kind of hacked the Demon Lord communication network. This is both good and bad. It's good because that means he isn't aware of what I really am and what I'm capable of, and bad because, well, it's Guy Crimson. The chances of something good happening due to his attention isn't very high. Well, at least he isn't looking at her with any other kind of emotion like hostility or lust. Because if he did, consequences be damned, I'm screwing the plan and jumping his ass right here and now. In any case, he seems to be playing some kind of game. His control over his power is very fine. Thousands of years of existence will do that to you. Basically, he's keeping his aura at around the level of a Demon Lord seed. Beyond that, he's letting his aura go wild, making it seem like he has little to no control over it. This gives the impression that he's inexperienced and weak when in reality he's tricking people into thinking that he's strong, but not that strong. Basically, he's making people look at him and go, yeah. I can take him when in reality he can wipe the floor with them. But with Ilya fused with me, my senses were dialed up to 100 and just a quick peek can tell me his general strength. And I gotta say, I'm a bit impressed. If it were before I got Azathoth, Yahweh, Odin, and Ilya was still Manus, Ilyasville, then he could have given me some trouble. I would have won since I can just make anti-Guy Crimson weapons and fire them all at him like Gilgamesh. An easy win. But if I didn't do anything to counter him directly, he would have won. Mikoto, as she is now, would also have a hard fight against him. In a life or death battle, it would end in a tie. If she got lucky, she would get away with her life, if not, she would die with Guy living. Well, I guess I'm going to be making anti-Guy weapons for her after this is done. Name, Rimuru. Race, Origin Slime. Protection, Crest of Space. Title, Highest Tier Spirit, Leader of the Monsters, Oniai-chan, King of Avalon, Master of Headpats, Procrastinator King, The Nutcracker, Socially Awkward Cringe Slightly Chiyuni Slime, True Dragon Slayer, Sensei, World's Strongest, Overpowered to a Stupid Degree, Mikoto's Equal. Codex, Iliasville. Ultimate Skills, Yahweh, God of Creation, Odin, God of Runes, Azathoth, God of Void, Alternative. Equipment, Yamato, Genesis.
If you want to support me, check out my Patreon at https://www.patreon.com/Kaioshin. I tend to polls that decide important plot stuff in my Patreon. Many thanks to my awesome patrons. Nicholas Berenger, Ben Phillips, Yamatancho, Taco TSK, Jose Torres. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. I'll be here until next time.